everybody, to another week of Crash Panda Talks Wrestling with, of course, the one and only Lloyd Legacy Sharp.
Hi.
It's always good to see you. I'm glad we got to have lunch this week. And, of course,
Yes.
lunch this week was just two.
Sweet.
All right, well, I guess this was another weird week of wrestling.
It was, but before we go too much further, we have to tell the people watching.
That's right. That's right. And I want to thank everybody that has been watching. But, you know, if you could just do us two favors, start off like this, and
Please subscribe.
Thank you, everybody. All right. Well, now that we got all the theatrics,
Housekeeping.
Which
I said that specific word because my father was very clearly seen in the background doing some housekeeping, so it ties in contextually. See what I did there? Let's talk wrestling.
Let's get into Raw. I'm gonna get my worst out of the way. Ninjas. Why are we still doing ninjas? Why? And now R-Truth is a ninja? R-Truth is not a ninja. He's never been a ninja. He's a rapper. I know Wu-Tang, I guess, but can we stop with the ninjas? Again, Akira Takezawa is a good wrestler. Why are we doing this racist ninja? I'm so upset. I mean, I'm glad that R-Truth is once again the champion, 24/7 comedy championship.
24/7, 7-Eleven, I-95. Go ahead.
Ninjas.
I played WWE video games from 2011 all the way up until now to this, like the current game to this day, and this storyline had me wanting to push R-Truth to the moon in like 5 of them. But my worst of the week, kind of similar, kind of not. Just not even anything they did specifically. Just retribution. Just retribution. I don't believe in them. They're not the NWO. They're not the Nexus. They're not even the Core. And if you are worse than the Core, you're doing something wrong. I don't believe these. They look like if Halloween came early and the Performance Center was the only place that they were allowed to trick or treat at. That's what they look like. I'm not intimidated. I'm not worried about them. They're just retribution. Worst. They are the worst. Not just the worst of the week. The retribution are just the worst.
Yeah, what are they even doing? Like, and we don't know.
They're seeking retribution.
Not only do we not know who they are, I don't care who they are. I really don't. I hate starting off on such a bad note, but
the Cruiserweight champion on NXT has a more threatening faction than Retribution, and that's only 3 people.
And I know WWE is trying to get back into the Attitude Era and trying to recreate these factions, but they're doing such a piss poor job of it. If it wasn't for ninjas, I would agree with you. I would agree with you if it wasn't for shitty ninjas. But there were.
Shitty ninjas being. I'm sorry, shitty ninjas being shitty ninjas and making me laugh for the purpose of them not meaning anything. I don't need it, but I can tolerate it.
But that's my problem.
A group that's supposed to be intimidating, that is just not. I can't.
But the ninjas didn't make me laugh. They were supposed to, but they didn't. R-Truth,
right? Well, that's the thing.
Made me laugh.
Okay, R-Truth. Oh, you know what? R-Truth as a ninja. I could. here's why the ninjas are not the worst. The ninjas are unnecessary, but we're not supposed to take them seriously anyway. So, okay, I don't take them seriously. Fine. I'm supposed to take Retribution seriously, and I don't. It's like, it would be like Doink the Clown. I'm supposed to laugh at Doink, or not take Doink the Clown seriously. Sure. But if you're trying to get me to take King Mabel seriously, which I never did, fail. The ninjas are Doink the Clown. Retribution is King Mabel. You're failing to do what you want me to do in getting me to feel how you want me to feel about it. And for that, it's the worst.
Okay, fair enough. Agree to disagree.
Fair. That's fair.
No, let's talk about something positive. There were some good things on Raw this week. Some legitimately good things. Lloyd, give me your best. Give me your best.
My best was Ric Flair getting kicked in the fucking head and off my damn screen. Woo!
Woo!
Hear me out. Now, I know that's going to rattle some people's kids. They're going to think, okay, Lloyd, if you feel happy about Ric Flair getting kicked off, then why the hell did you go woo at the end of your little rant there? I'll tell you why. Because Ric Flair being a part of this whole story was never necessary. It was never needed. And him finally being removed is the best of Raw, but not just because of the fact that he was removed, but because of how they led up to him being removed. Ric Flair and Randy Orton had the best interaction I've seen them have since Ric Flair joined his side. Non-wrestling, styling, and profiling, mortal, human, could have died, could die any day, genuine, about to just this was not styling and profiling 16-time champion Ric Flair. This was just Ric Flair. It is the most believable and this is the best promo he's cut in this entire freaking iteration. And for that, and Randy's reaction, the kick to the head, Drew making the save, Randy's face at the end, not just the fact that Ric Flair was kicked off television, the entire segment was the best for me.
I do agree, and I'm going to go on that rant in just a second, but I do want to give 2 honorable mentions, technically 3. One, I want to give honorable mention to Samoa Joe. He was the best for me last week. He still comes off as a killer. He's the man. I hope we see him in the ring sometime soon. Second, which is technically 2 honorable mentions, Asuka and Bayley.
Always.
Yeah,
always.
Just putting on a wrestling clinic. Yeah, that was fantastic. I didn't even hate the end, even though it was one of those whatever endings.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you about Ric Flair getting killed by Randy Orton, and I don't like it because of the storyline. I don't like it because of how it looked on TV. I like it because it's probably the last time you'll ever see Ric Flair on TV. And he ended his career exactly how he lived his career, with honor to the business. He went out on his back, and he went out getting over somebody else.
Exactly. And that's something that I feel like Ric Flair in history
I'm getting chill bumps like when I say that right now. Like,
right? Exactly. Because that's something that Ric Flair doesn't get a lot of credit for. Ric Flair is one of the most unselfish performers in history. Like he spent a lot of his career putting other guys over. Him and The Rock. So like, whereas people like Hulk Hogan or even Stone Cold sometimes, Ric Flair, this was Ric Flair. Like, just peak.
Like I said, he went out the same way. Like he went out doing exactly what he believed in doing. And if that's the last time we see Ric Flair on TV, it's not just the best thing this week on Raw. It might be the best thing in wrestling this year.
I mean, if that is the last time we see him, I agree. But something tells me he'll be back someday.
He'll make an appearance.
Yeah.
They all, everybody needs a paycheck every now and then.
Exactly. Especially Ric Flair, because, alimonies. Anyway.
And with that rant, I'm going to let you have NXT. Because
right.
AEW, I don't have too much to say about it this week, but I know you have plenty to say about NXT.
Yes, I do. But I went on a little bit of a rant on the Ninjas and the main and Retribution, so I'll keep this relatively short. Best of NXT this week, the NXT Championship program between Keith Lee and Killian Cross. Now, I know the fireball to the eye out of the contract might have seemed a little bit hokey to some, and by NXT standards, I would say it was. But if you consider the characters that Killian Cross and Scarlett are, that they kind of have this beyond the veil, beyond the senses gimmick to them, it's believable that they would do that. Like if Joe Schmo came from behind the glass and did that, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? But if it's them, Keith Lee is looking vulnerable for the first time in his championship reign, and I legitimately do not know if they're going to go with Keith Lee or Karrion Kross, and because of that, that's the best. Honorable mention to the return of Velveteen Dream. It didn't amount to much, but I definitely didn't see it coming. And also,
I did actually watch. I did actually tune in and check out on YouTube the return of Velveteen. Not impressed. I'm consistently not impressed by Velveteen Dream. I'm sorry. I know that's a very unpopular opinion, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I just needed everybody else in the world to know. Velveteen Dream, not that good.
That's fair. I mean, Velveteen Dream's best days were definitely 3 years ago. Seeing him, the visual of him coming back was surprising. Me and my father didn't see it coming. He didn't really do much after he got in the ring. But I will say, I can't say that. Because the Triple Threat match is the other honorable mention. The Triple Threat match was awesome. Non-stop action. And even though Velveteen Dream spent most of his time getting kicked and he did his part to make that match great. Cameron Grimes getting a win. No problem with that. Triple threat match. That is the kind of wrestling in the ring that NXT does just so well. And the worst of the week, the Undisputed Era segment. I only say that because they came and they interrupted a match and they didn't really say much. Like if you watch the promo, they weren't really saying anything. They were like, we challenge you to be here next week. And then they spent about 2 minutes basically saying, he'll tell you, I'm going to kick your ass. Like, I don't know. They could have just sat in the back and said, I challenge you to be here next week. But back in the day, Hulk Hogan used to cut an NWO promo and spend 10 minutes saying nothing. They just spent 3 minutes saying nothing. And for that, that's the worst. That's NXT. I enjoyed it. Back to Vaiden.
Sorry, apparently a fire truck just went by. No.
Why are you playing with matches?
Burn it down. Oh, that's gonna be a GIF.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially with the green screen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay, so there is, as we all know, let's get back to business. And speaking of business, AEW, the other show, the better show, probably the best show of the week, actually, AEW, the last 2 weeks, this week and last week, another backslide from last week. I'm going to give you my worst. My worst is a tie. As good as the Orange Cassidy and Jericho match was, which everybody knows I live for, Le Champion, freshly squeezed, love all of it. The ending of that match, it's one of the most simple it's supposed to be a surprise roll-up, but it's supposed to be a technical surprise roll-up, and they technically fucked it all up. I'm gonna have to bleep that out for monetization, but like, how do you mess up a surprise roll-up? And you but again, that's tied for the worst with consistently on AEW. I am tired of Hikaru Shida. She's a great wrestler, but she doesn't feel like a champion. And then she just had a squash match with, I don't even remember her name now, some blonde from an independent. Blonde. I hated everything about that match. It's just a squash. She doesn't feel like a champion. You know what? Put the belt on Penelope Ford. Just put it on Penelope. She's a better wrestler. She has more charisma. She's more popular. She can cut a promo.
Said it before, I'll say it again. The one knock I have on AEW, the women's division needs some work.
Well, and I did appreciate what they did with setting up the women's tag team tournament. However, the whole setup behind that doesn't make any sense. So I like it, but like, I don't understand it yet. So I can't give it an up or a down. It's ridiculous. But as long as in the next month, they need to take the belt off Hikaru Shida and give it to literally anybody else. I wouldn't be mad if they gave it to Nyla Rose. But I would rather see Penelope with that belt, and I think she has more momentum. Chris Statlander isn't wrestling right now, so I can't push her. Like, she's making the responsible decision to not come in contact with people. So as much as I love my favorite alien, I hate Hikaru Shida. But in the light of that, there are so many good things about AEW. I know it. I'm going to give an honorable mention, a dishonorable mention to MJF. I know last week it was the best thing in wrestling. I don't like the gimmick. I love the promo. I don't like the gimmick because I'm trying to distract myself from politics, and now he's making me think about Trump, and I just need to get away from that. So dishonorable mention there. However, excellent promo, so honorable mention as well. The best of AEW this week, the Young Bucks. Not only did they have an excellent match at the beginning of the show, but during the tag team appreciation segment, actually, not even the Young Bucks. I'm going to give the best to Ricky Morton. As old as he is, taking that spike pile driver spot from FTR and selling it like it was the last thing he was ever going to do, because it probably is. Man, I believed. They sold me. They marked me. They totally made a mark out of me. And it helped build the feud. The Young Bucks just make everybody look good. Like, not only just with their style, but the way they sell things, and they're taking a page right out of Ricky Morton. And Ricky Morton is probably the best in wrestling this week, because a guy that old that can still sell a pile driver spot the way that he did and do it safely, that gives me hope for my future. And that's AEW.
And
Let's now we have to talk about it. We have to talk about Crapdown, as I call it. Smackdown.
Before we get into Smackdown, I want to take a brief moment to take everybody back to a time I like to call 2003. Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar dominated the main event. John Cena, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Rhino, Rey Mysterio on the mid-card, and Vince McMahon doing the last bit of really solid heel work with Sable and his daughter and The Undertaker that you would have ever seen after the Attitude Era going forward. Look where we are now!
There's a reason I call it Crapdown.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is. That's what it is. You want me to go first, or you want to go first? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, give me your worst, Lloyd.
All right. Now, my worst is going to come with a little bit of credit. But first, dishonorable mention on the worst side to Sheamus going full Big Show. Last week, Sheamus was seemingly on the brink of a babyface turn. The fact that Matt Riddle interrupted and helped him get the victory, and the fact that Matt Riddle was applauding him after his match. By association, if you think about wrestling psychology, that was a babyface turn for Sheamus. This week, he's on the other side of the NASCAR track again, and now he's a heel, and he's going after Shorty G, who's also a dishonorable mention to Sheamus. My worst of the week comes with an asterisk of credit, but it's the main event segment.
Well, hold on, before you I want to harp in on that dishonorable mention, because I was so confused as to why Sheamus was fighting Shorty G that, like, I didn't care about that match one bit. So I'm giving that as well a dishonorable mention.
Exactly. I mean, Shorty G and Sheamus, we've seen it 100 times when it made more sense.
I love Shorty G so much, but I hate it every time he comes out, because he just has this. He shouldn't have a G on it. He should just have an L, because every time he comes out, he just loses. And I love him as a wrestler, and I hate the company for doing this to him.
Exactly. And we've seen Sheamus and Shorty G have better matches back when the story made more sense. Didn't need to see it last night.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
My worst. No, it's okay. By all means. My worst goes to the main event segment. But here's the thing. This ongoing thread of people who face Bray Wyatt head-on changing is the most consistent long-form storytelling I've seen WWE do in the last calendar year. And the twist in it is that Braun Strowman almost doesn't seem to realize that it's him who's changing. And Seth Rollins changed, Finn Balor changed, Daniel Bryan changed, albeit for the better. The Miz, they all changed, but the main event segment did continue a long-term story that one of the few consistent long-term stories that WWE has upheld since The Fiend arrived. So that gets an asterisk of good, but the main event segment itself, I appreciate things that are cryptic, that leave you wondering what could happen next. But I don't like things that are so nonsensical that they make you wonder what's going on while you're watching it. Long story short, the interaction between Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman could have been either scrapped or explained better with 7 less sentences. 7 less sentences. Easy for me to say. And at the end, when it was Braun who tossed her up, the Fiend that was there when she was on the ground, and now Braun's laughing, and the Fiend...
Yeah.
My brain hurt, and there's a video that Good Mike Work on YouTube was going to stream tonight, and the title is Braun and Fiend Double Turn. That's how confusing it is. It made no sense. I have seen Vince Russo do things in WCW in 2000 towards the end that made more sense than this main event segment. And if I can't explain to you how nonsensical this was, then with that analogy, I can't do any further. Go.
Well, since we're coming off of that rant, I think we need to talk about something positive. So I'm going to give my best and save my worst for last, because I need to have a little bit of rant for my worst. But the best, let's talk about the best. Lloyd, be positive. Hey, wake up. Wake up. Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles. Let me talk about that promo. That was so good. I actually believe right now that Jeff Hardy is gonna retire AJ Styles. I actually believe he's gonna take that belt. That promo was so good. Oh my God. I have not been invested in the Intercontinental Championship in so long. And as AJ Styles being the total arsehole heel that he is, in the board promo, it reminded me of Jericho making the list but not making a list. He made a list and put nobody on it but himself, and that was so, oh my God, that promo was so hilarious and good. And now I actually believe that title is worth something. AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy. Jeff, you go get your belt. Go, yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That was, my honorable mention was going to be how well Smackdown is treating the Intercontinental Championship, because I think that's going pretty well. But my best on SmackDown this week. My best on SmackDown this week is something I call AIAA. All in on Asuka.
That was one of my
number one contender for 2 titles.
Yeah,
and not only.
And I legitimately believe she might win both of them. Asuka 2 belts.
Yes. And not only.
Wait, let me change that. Asuka all belts.
Yes. Yes. Double AB. And not only did she win the whole shebang, but she kept kicking ass in the back even after she won the whole damn thing. All in on Asuka. If you're watching this, you need to get that trending on somewhere, YouTube, trending. Hashtag all in on Asuka. Best.
Let's put it
My
right
best
there. Let's put it right there in production. Right.
Exactly. All in on Asuka. Get it in. All right. What's your worst?
My worst is actually the same as your worst. And it's been I think it was like 3 weeks ago. It was still my worst. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Keep your filthy hands off the goddess Alexa. Leave Alexa alone. She is a fucking goddess, and you have no business putting your hands on her. The Fiend or Braun, leave Alexa alone. I don't want anybody to hurt my future ex-wife. Can we keep Alexa safe? Because she's been assaulted by the Fiend, and now she's been assaulted by the monster, and I don't know if she's safe, and why isn't her tag team partner helping her? She doesn't. What's gonna happen to Alexa? I need to know. She needs to be in a safe place, and I keep your filthy fucking monster hands. Sorry, we're going to have to bleep that too. Keep your filthy hands off the goddess Alexa. I don't like women being assaulted.
Fair. Now, remember a few weeks ago when I said that if the WWE does not properly follow up on what the Fiend did to Alexa Bliss, that I would retroactively go back and I would make that segment the worst. Here we are, 3 weeks later, and they have not only successfully not given me any further incentive to want to see Bray Wyatt get his ass kicked. Now, I just want to see Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt kill each other because they're both a couple of assholes. So, I'm not going to make that the worst. I'm not going to make tonight's segment the worst twice, but I am retroactively going back 3 weeks on Trash Panda Talks Wrestling because I'm a man of my word, and I am giving the segment where it closed out with the Fiend sticking his fingers down Alexa Bliss's throat and giving us a good cliffhanger that did not pay off. That is the worst of that week. Go back and watch it. Call it the worst. Inverse shit. Done.
And before we go to the next segment, let's just put another. Let's put it right here. Respect the ladies. Respect the ladies. Let's put it right there in the middle. Respect the ladies. Okay. So that brings us to the best of everything for the week and the worst of everything of the week. We like to end on positive notes, so let's get the worst out of the way. Lloyd, I'm going to let you have it.
My worst of the week goes to Raw Underground. Only because it was even less necessary this week than it was last week. And for something that has the potential to be so good, I don't think it's going to be as good as it can. So that's my worst of the week.
My worst of the week. I know I don't want to get all worked up again, but keep your filthy hands off the goddess Alexa Bliss. She is a goddess, and you should treat her with respect. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to be mad about it anymore. Yes, I am. I'm going to be mad, but less vocal. All right.
Well,
so best of the week.
My best of the week goes to just every time Sasha and Bayley were on television. Because the only thing that you can bank on, pun intended now that I think about it, the only thing you can bank on being good every time it happens on Raw or SmackDown is whatever the hell Sasha and Bayley are doing. Whether it's their interaction, whether they're having a match with somebody as a tag team in singles competition, Sasha and Bayley, everything they did this week made the not so good moments and the good moments either watchable or better, respectively. And for that, Sasha and Banks all week long with Bayley, best of the week, anytime you're on TV.
I swear, every time they're on TV, like Sasha is like Cardi B and Bailey is like Lady Gaga. It's just you. If you put them together, you just know some like awesome shit is about to happen. I'm gonna give. It's so tough. Best of the week for me. I'm gonna give honorable mention to Jeff and AJ for making me care about the Intercontinental title. But the best of the week, it was emotional for me. Ric Flair going out on his back and getting Randy over, so over, and that end shot with Randy just like, it was that was the best. Honestly,
that was legitimately scary. I was a little creeped out by that.
And for the first time, well, not the very first time, but I'm going against my AEW fanboy love and giving it to Ric Flair.
Well, Ric Flair represents a business that AEW is now only starting to get its feet wet in. So if there's anything that can trump an AEW show, it is a solid Ric Flair segment.
And oh my God, just like I said, so much respect for the man. And what I love, why it's the best, is because of how much respect he gave back to the business in the way that it just, Ric Flair. Let's do it on 3. 1, 2. Woo! All right. Now that does end the best of the week, and it's my week for history. And I have 2 small things that make up one pretty big thing. First thing, not that it's a wrestling historical moment, but it's historical enough. Happy birthday, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, his birthday was like Tuesday, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, happy birthday.
This week, Hulk Hogan was born.
Yeah, and yeah, great. Let's not talk about all the other things, but in the ring, icon. Oh yeah. So,
without Hulk Hogan, we wouldn't be doing this show. So happy birthday, Hulk Hogan.
Very true. Very true. And the second, well, these are 2 things that, like I said, that end up being a big thing. Seth Rollins on this day, this actual day, we're filming on Saturday. On this actual day, Seth Rollins signed to the WWE.
Wow.
Which he started in NXT, became NXT champion, went on to be one of the most iconic members of an iconic tag team faction, The Shield, and eventually world champion, and now Mini Messiah, which actually I kind of like where that story is going now. Seth Rollins, on this day, signed a contract for WWE. Now, that also brings me to the other thing in history that happened today. Daniel Bryan's return from exile.
Oh.
So,
SummerSlam, right?
Yeah, at SummerSlam, which is obviously coming up, and we'll do a special episode for. Look out for that, guys. We're going to do a special episode just for SummerSlam. Sorry, Lloyd. I just told you we're doing that.
I dig it.
But
that was a shoot, brother.
And those 2 things leading to a pretty good match on Smackdown. About 5 years later, but that is the nature of the business. So, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, Hulk Hogan. That's your week of history. This week in history in wrestling.
wrestling's beginnings and wrestling's current and future. I dig it.
Yeah. Can you dig it?
Sucker! Actually, Hulk Hogan's birthday, Booker T. If you know, you know.
Oh, I see.
We're not going to reenact it here, but if you know, you know.
And if you don't know, then now you know.
Exactly. The next word that will come after that in the song, yeah. Bingo.
But let's keep it monetized. All right. So this has been another week of Trash Panda Talks Wrestling. Lloyd, what you got coming up?
Well, this week I am going to be live at the Beer Garden on Friday in Providence, Rhode Island. Actually on stage this time. I know some people saw that I went to watch. This Friday I'm actually performing. I was supposed to be on Sauce in the City yesterday afternoon, but technical issues did not allow that to happen. So they are going to bring me back again, also on the 21st, early in the day, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. Can't talk today. And other than that, the views people know I'm going to be Hampton, New Hampshire, Charlie's Tap House, August 28th, doing the Alter Ego Act. And I'll be at a couple of open mics from here to the end of the month. On Monday, I'll be at Comedy Out of the Cabaret on Facebook, Brian O'Donnell.
Wait, so when you go to New Hampshire, are you gonna be Lloyd Legacy Jackson or Keytar Bear?
I will definitely be playing my pop legend alter ego. But yeah, so that is all coming up.
Inside ballpark for the Boston community.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I got coming up. Don't want to go too long. Tell them what you got.
I will be actually maybe coming with you down to Providence for that show. Again, I don't know if I'm performing or not. I'm just coming. So that is a thing. I will also be in Somerville on the 21st. That's right, in Somerville. Doing a little spot for Casey and Casey birthday bash. And then, of course, every week we have Trash Panda Talks Wrestling, and then we have Trash Conspiracy, and then now we have Everybody Loves Trash. I don't know what the first episode is going to be. We have 2 episodes in the bank right now. One is about cheese, one is about football. We'll see what happens, but it is coming up, and I want everybody to watch it because I'm really excited about it.
Is there anything Joe?
Sorry, I lost you.
Is there anything you can tell us about your hashtag secret show?
No, I literally am not allowed to say anything about that show.
Fair. That's fair.
That was fun. However, I can say it was in Cambridge. But it was a good time. It was a good time, and it was in Cambridge, and that's all I'm legally allowed to say.
That's fair. I dig it.
All right. So as always, catch us back next week. But again, if you didn't already, we need to do 2 things. What are they? We need to like this.
Subscribe, please.
And we'll catch you next week, guys.
2.